Wildcats in their purple trimmed in white, and Utah State white with the dark blue. And Braxton controls that tip into backcourt, and we are on our way. Harding has the ball. He's going to have the ball in his hands an awful lot, Coach, in order to have any success.
Look for both teams to play almost entirely man-to-man. I've watched them up to this point, and I don't know if I've seen either team play possession of zone yet.
With 12 on the shot clock, that first shot rattles in and rattles right back out again.
And that's one thing you can see Hardy. It's easy for him to get to a shot. He's left-handed. He's got a great step-back move. He's got a step back to an explosion move. He is terrific when he gets going.
Now Quinn Taylor steps out of bounds, so the first turnover committed by the Aggies.
Well, the Aggies, up until their trip at Provo, Steve, had been a team that had gotten off to terrific starts. They haven't trailed in the first 10 minutes this entire season until the trip to Provo, where I think they kind of ran into a wounded cougar, so to speak, down there.
10 to shoot again for Weber State. The ball knocked away and retrieved by the Aggies. So both teams a little fast and loose with the basketball on the possessions. Kade inside, can't give him that. If you give him that position, Coach, he's going to kill you, right?
Yeah, that's what you call a 2-foot in the paint catch. If you let him at 6'11" with long arms catch it down there, it's going to be a long evening for big Zach Braxton.
At corner three, in and out, and rebounded by Crew Ainge. If the name is familiar, it should be Danny Ainge, his father.
Kind of a couple interesting matchups to me. The Aggies have Sam Merrill at 6'5" on Jarek Harding at 6'1". I kind of thought Crew Ainge would be the guy that matched up to him, and Coach Smith has kind of made the decision to kind of cross-match things a little bit.
Kade's shot was short.
Keeping Weber State guards out of the paint is a whole key to this game defensively.
Oh, Hayes missed the layup. Well contested on the play.
And then just a frustration foul after that.
Yeah.
That's a silly foul. 90 feet from the basket. But give Jarek Harding a lot of credit. He didn't give up on that play. Watch him go after this. It's been real easy to give up on it. Harding at 6'1", getting way up in the air. How about Jarek Harding at 6'1", 170? Steve averages 5 rebounds a game. That's terrific. That's terrific for any guard, let alone one as small as he is.
And that, of course, is effort. And that's what you love to see as a coach. Shot off the mark by Harding and pulled down. The Aggies will try to run. And a nice job by the Wildcats of getting back.
Well, transition defense for both these teams is going to be huge. Remember, a week ago today is when the Wildcats put 113 up on BYU, and that's almost unheard of against the Dave Rose team.
Great shot by Ainge. That bodied up and still had the strength to get it up off the glass. The ball was knocked out of bounds. It will be Aggie basketball. Cato was underneath.
We talked about this being a veteran Weber State team. Here's that play by Ainge using his body to power that up over there. Big, strong move by a little guard. But the only freshman, only young guy in this Weber State starting lineup is Israel Barnes, a freshman from Wichita, Kansas, who shot that one a little bit too quick for Andy Ray's liking.
Miller's three is off the back of the iron, and a whistle on the rebound. It's going to go to Weber State as the ball comes off an Aggie player. Both teams, I'm sorry, Coach, both teams trying to get used to this shooting backdrop. It's different than they're used to.
What a great basketball venue and a great day of basketball here in Utah. But if you're not used to playing in this arena, it's a little bit like playing down at Provo in the Marriott Center with that vast background.
Ball stolen away by Ainge. Got down there on Braxton.
I think that's 3 turnovers for the Wildcats.
It is. That three-pointer there, you see the quick catch and shoot that so many coaches like about Merrill.
Well, whenever you bring up Sam Merrill's name to any coach, they talk about what a great feel he has for the game, and he can certainly do that. He can shoot it in.
Timeout on the floor. Aggies with a 7-0 lead on the Wildcats. First one goes full.
Sam Merrill, great footwork, got his team out to an early lead, 7-zip.
There's Big Blue, the Aggie mascot. His team got off to a great start, Coach, a 7-0 lead, and Randy Ray said, hey, let me get a timeout, talk things over.
Well, I think that was a good timeout by Randy Ray and his young team. Here, as I mentioned earlier, the Aggies had been getting off great starts until last Wednesday down at Provo. So, again, a timely timeout by Coach Ray.
Cody John missing the 3. That's the first time we've called his name so far. He hadn't had any touches.
Well, Weber State has had such great success offensively until their last game. I think they're shooting it a little bit too quick instead of getting the ball reversed, and they have got to find an answer for the big freshman. The Mias Keita from Portugal, he has been a force so far.
Yeah, there are 4 Portuguese players in Division I basketball, and the Aggies have 2 of them. There you go. Weber State finally getting on the board.
Well, what did we talk about? Coach Sloan used to say that three-point line will kill you or cure you, and it had kind of killed Weber State up to that point until the big senior from Roy, the Utah transfer, stuck one in.
Keita inside again. Now they double and bring some backside help, and it worked for him. And that might be the new approach to defending the big fella.
Well, Zach Braxton kind of knocked him off his spot there with his lower body. Remember, that's a senior going against a freshman. Braxton against the freshman there, and that's there may be a little bit of adult education going on between those two. Quinn Taylor coming off a tough game down in Provo. He had 5 3-point shots made just like that a week ago against Cal Irvine. Down in Provo, he went 0 for 3, 2 of 7 for only 5 points, and he's been a pretty dependable scorer for the Aggies.
Yeah, that 3-pointer there is going to help his confidence. And how about the hanging 2 right there in the lane?
Israel Barnes, the freshman I talked about from Wichita, Kansas, same high school that Jarek Harding came out of. Barnes hit a game-winning 3-point shot down in the Bahamas versus Central Michigan and got his freshman year off to a pretty good start. I think that was only the Weber's 3rd game of the year.
Keita, oh, nice find from Keita to Merrill. What a cut to the basket from Merrill.
You know, every once in a while, Steve, Keita will look a little awkward, then he'll do something like that. That was a paint-to-paint pass, which you don't see many 6'11" guys. That takes a high level of skill to do that. That was a terrific pass.
Rebound is fought for, and the Aggies come down with it. The Aggies are a great rebounding team. I mean,
one of the tops in the nation, plus 13, and they are by far and away the best rebounding team in the Mountain West Conference.
Let's take a look inside of that dunk that we saw a moment ago by Keita. Pass over the top, and you know, he looks a little like Patrick Ewing did as a freshman. He's got that kind of skinny, long body, and then the great find.
Boy, 6'11", and he got armed from here to Hoboken. That one, Zach Braxton just kind of let him get angled to the basket. That was not great defense by the senior Braxton, who is starting his 107th game this year for Weber State. How about that, Steve, for a career? Every game he's played in for Weber State, he started.
Inside, and great defensive job shutting it off there by Doc Nelson. 8 to shoot, and they did.
Wow. I tell you, he showed 2 different styles or 2 different methods getting to that 3-point shot. Remember, his first one was off a handoff, which takes great footwork. That one, he kind of rhythmed his guy to sleep and dribbled into it. He is a terrific shooter.
That shot over the top by Cody John, who's still waiting to get going so far this afternoon. And Dwayne Brown can't finish.
Dwayne Brown's the 2nd leading scorer on this Aggie team, but hadn't started the game yet. He is a big energy guy at 6'6", coming off the bench. And that's what Harding can do. He can make those acrobatic shots around the basket. I don't know if you call those runners or flips or what you call it, but he's been able to do that his entire career.
I call him 2.
Yeah, exactly. I call it a basket.
Merrill gives it up. Brown, and he'll give it up as well now. And Aggies trying to get to the basket, and they do, indeed. That was Knight. Knight, the freshman out of Oklahoma.
Tarion Knight, who is playing probably more minutes tonight because John Knight III, the junior college player, is out with a concussion.
Aggies opportunistic with the defense and then the finish there.
And that is the other Portuguese. As you said, only 4 of them in Division I, and 2 of them here playing for the Aggies. And Diogo Brito, the 6'5" junior from Portugal, had 23 starts last year out of their 34 games.
So the whistle and the foul stops play. It was Dwayne Brown who got tagged with the foul. Utah State with that early start, 21-7. Boy, I'll tell you, it's almost like they did get started 5 minutes early.
Well, I tell you, both teams, as I said in our open, there's not lack of motivation. Both of them got drilled pretty good on the road. The Aggies down in Provo against BYU, and then a week ago today, Weber State scores 113, and it was easy against BYU. Wednesday, they go to Fresno State and get held to 52, and we're lucky to get to 52.
Well, great penetration, great dribble drive, and the finish, and an opportunity for an and one coming here.
Great drive by Cody John, a kid that set out last year. Cody John, the second leading scorer on this Weber State team, 5th in the league, and he's part of that terrific backcourt by Weber State. 21-9, here's Viv Smart.
Just a heads up, our upcoming schedule is brought to you by the Larry H. Miller dealerships. Put the mobile in automobile at LHMauto.com, driven by you. So I guess it's put the mobile in automobile, right?
I like that. I'll go with that.
Either one works for me.
Yeah, at our age, whatever
right.
works.
Just give us 4 wheels to get us from here to there.
That's right.
Welcome back, everybody. It is 21-9. Aggies have given Weber State quite an uphill challenge early in this one. Wildcats are going to need to get hot. Oh, that's not going to help either. Cody John missing at the line, so he made the 2 but couldn't convert for the final 3.
Well, the Wildcats, Steve, I don't think have helped themselves any. They've turned it over several times. They've shot it a little quick a few times off of just 1 pass or maybe 2, and the Aggies are dominating the glass pretty much. And remember, the team that has won the rebound battle in this series has won this game 8 of the last 10 times.
3 turnovers committed by Weber State so far to none for the Aggies. Well, it's listed as none officially. They did have a turnover because they stepped out of bounds on a shot.
Sure
so
did.
I think we've got some issues with our statistics that we can hopefully get finished, get fixed sooner or later. And that's coming, by the way, from the tournament.
I guess we just make them up as we go.
Yeah, what
just
the heck?
Say it with conviction, and you know everyone. But it is a little hard not be able to get the stats there. Both teams have played entirely man-to-man, which is no surprise. We thought that coming into this it would be mano-a-mano, so to speak, and not much zone being played.
And on the foul, that sends Tarion Knight to the free throw line. He misses that first one. Had a career high of 14 against Hartford in a 59-point output from the bench.
How about that? That was also Dwayne Brown, their second leading scorers, career high 24.
Yes.
But the Aggies bench has been outstanding. And I've always said, you don't just wake up one day and have a deep bench or a long bench. You really have to cultivate that as a head coach, Steve. And it's a work of art. That doesn't just happen.
Yeah, the bench for the Aggies so far this season has outscored the other benches 315 to 172. So that's pretty impressive as we've got a whistle on that rebound.
Well, everything Craig Smith has done with this Aggie team has been pretty impressive to me. Picked 9th in the Mountain West Conference, and boy, they sure look like they're not going to finish 9th to me. They were 7-1 before they took that shellacking down in Provo last Wednesday night, but they've been terrific. One of the best rebounding teams in the entire nation. They have been not just a surprise team in the Mountain West Conference, a surprise team in the Western United States, in my mind.
And another turnover committed by Weber State. Well, a miss on the finger roll there by Dwayne Brown cost the Aggies an opportunity, but the 4th turnover by the Wildcats. That defense for Utah State has been opportunistic, to say the least. Now, that's what Weber State is going to need. Opportunities for 3-point plays by knifing to the basket. Cody John already had one chance and couldn't convert the free throw, but this is a second opportunity for him to get three the old-fashioned way.
Boy, he's really nifty off the dribble. He set out last year with a lower back injury, but right now Weber State has 4 subs in the game, and Cody John being the only starter. I think he scored the last 5 points for the Wildcats. He's averaging about 17, in fact, right at 17, 4 rebounds a game. He and Jarek Harding are a formidable backcourt.
And a dribble off the hands of one of the Wildcats. At least that's the original call, yes. Sam Merrill wanted to go to the basket. And as you pointed out, his size, when he puts the head down at 6'5", it's a daunting task. It's a lot to ask of a guard to stand in front of him. You need help from one of the bigs.
Well, he really knows how to play the game. As I told you earlier in the game, you mention his name to anyone around the Mountain West Conference, and they talk about his unbelievable feel for the game, as he just demonstrates with that terrific bounce pass to the big freshman from Portugal, Keita. But he can pass it. As a freshman, Steve, Sam Merrill led the Mountain West Conference in assist-to-turnover ratio, which is unheard of for a freshman. They're usually very turnover-prone.
Another miss, but the rebound comes down. Caleb Nero, young man who's also a freshman, one of the younger players on the Weber State team out of Tulsa.
Randy Ray's really high on this freshman group. You have Nero and then Israel Barnes who started, and then 2 big international freshmen at 6'8" and 6'9". He thinks this is his best freshman class he's had since he's been at Weber State.
Well, there's some defense there by Michael Kozak. He got called with the foul, but you saw the quick hops on both Kozak and Cato as they go up and down. Cato is a guy who can put it down. If you give him this, that was a great pass, as you point out, by Merrill. But the work around the rim as well.
Well, Cato is a kid who started all but 1 game for the Wildcats last year as a freshman. Weber State was rolling along last year, Steve. Had won 9 straight conference games, and then in Randy Ray's own words, we ran out of juice. They lost 4 of their last 5 games, including a 25-point blowout in the first round of the conference tournament. And I think at the end of the year, and I really tip my hat to Randy Ray and his staff, they examined what they needed to do better, and they felt like they needed to be quicker. And they took Coda out of the lineup and went with 3 guards, and it has been pretty effective to this point.
Well, Randy Ray wants to know where the foul came on that block. That was a heck of an athletic play as Keita went to the basket. And watch the quick reaction here by the 6'10" Ukrainian freshman right here.
He got him. And, you know, of course, as a coach, you don't have the benefit of the replay.
And even if you did, it might not change your mind.
No. Sometimes you got to get on the officials just to let them know you're paying attention, you know, to get their attention a little bit. What a pickup this kid from Portugal is. Now, remember, he's just a freshman. Craig Smith gets the job, and usually you're just kind of taking leftovers when you take on a new job like this. And remember, Cody McEwen left this Aggie team last year, one of the best players in all the Mountain West Conference. You pick a kid up like this at 6'11", man, that's almost unheard of as you take over a new program.
But you tell me, take a look at the way he moves in his body. Doesn't he remind you of young Patrick Ewing?
He does for a fact.
I mean, and he is, if he works out as well, he'll be all right. He just took one in the chops right there.
Well, great defense on that ball screen. He's long and he's really quick laterally. Boy, that really helps you in this new age basketball where there's a ton of ball screens. He can get out there and guard a point guard.
Romero off the mark, a rare miss for him on the
that was the easiest one he's had. Of those 2 he made were tough. That one was easy. Look at that.
Cato with a big block.
Excuse me, sir. Not on my watch. Man.
Taylor 3.
Wow.
Airballed one.
Wow.
Yeah, he's giving himself a second look on that one. He wasn't happy with it. There's the block down below, and you see the quick reflexes.
Not only 6'11" with long arms, so quick off the feet, and he doesn't knock it out of bounds. The old Bill Russell philosophy. He blocks it and picks up the rebound, and off they go to the other end.
Going to get a breather now.
I wouldn't give him a breather ever. I'd tell him you're in for 40 minutes. Don't even think you're coming out.
That's how long a basketball game lasts. You're working the whole 40.
Yeah, exactly.
Wildcats looking down low. They want the ball inside. Is not able to get it. Now that baseline shot, boy, John has got some acrobatics, doesn't he? He's athletic. That one in and out.
I'm not sure that was a great shot, but he can get to a shot just about any time. Brito from the corner, and a great pass by the Super Six man, Dwayne Brown.
Well, Brito, the guy we talked about from Portugal, had 23 starts last year, but appeared in every game. And he was a member of the Portuguese under-18 and under-20 national team. He also led him in scoring. So Brito can get it done if he needs to. There's a foul on the other end, as working hard was Harding. And we will step aside with 7:10 remaining in the half. Slow start for the Wildcats, but they're clawing their way back. Utah State 29-14. Welcome back, everybody, to the 2018 Beehive Classic presented by Zions Bank, where we haven't forgotten who keeps us in business. Aggies with that great start, 29-14, but the Wildcats have started to get things rolling. Now, the Aggies didn't get a lot of respect, Coach, in the preseason Mountain West poll.
Well, we talked about losing their last player, losing their coach last year, and their best player, Cody McEwen, a kid that played at Wasatch Academy. Picked 9th. I think they're the surprise team in the Western United States and the Mountain West Conference. Nevada, who's picked first with all their starters back, is living up to that expectation. They're 9-0 now and ranked about 5th, I think, in the nation. I think that guy they just showed no one knew about. He kind of slipped in the back door on everyone. He may be the best big guy in the league this year as a freshman.
Wildcats looking for something. It got a good open look there from 3, but it rattles out. Chapman not able to put it down. You know, interesting, the Wildcats were picked 2nd in the Big Sky, and this is 11 straight years that Weber State has been picked either 1st or 2nd in the Big Sky Conference.
Well, it's no surprise then Montana is picked 1st, and usually when Weber State's picked 1st, Montana's picked 2nd. They have had quite a two-team duel going on for the last decade.
Shot off the mark. And over the back, reaching foul by Dima Zador, the big 6'10" Ukrainian freshman. I like him. Saw him on that shot that was blocked earlier. He got called for the foul, but he was contesting the offensive boards with Keita. Now they'll bring Braxton back in, but he's a nice opportunity for some break for Braxton when he's got to have that blow. You bring in Zador.
At 6'10", he's a little thin at 210 from the Ukraine, but I told you, Randy Ray, he has 4 freshmen, 2 great guards, and 2 international big kids that he is really high on. The interesting matchup now, Brakat Chapman trying to stick Sam Merrill, 6'8" on 6'5". Let's see if Merrill can get anything going against a big Brakat Chapman.
Another great pass by Merrill, finding Dwayne Brown.
Well, that was a great cut by Brown. Away from the defense, his defender turned his head, which is a typical mistake. A lot of times you got to get zeroed in on the ball and forget about your guy. Brown, almost an instinctive cut to the basket.
Yeah, foul on Brown. You know, that cut, though, is the same cut that Merrill made when Keita found him as well. Yeah. That play they run, they love that diagonal cut into the lane right there.
Well, Quinn Taylor has played a lot of games for the Aggies, a senior out of Houston. This is his 104th game. I talk about Zach Braxton. This is his 107th, not just game, but 107th start. He is chasing the all-time leading scorer at Weber State, Jeremy Singleton, who started 123 games. So unless there's some kind of injury or something very unforeseen, Zach Braxton will be the career leader in starts at Weber State.
And he hits those 2 free throws.
Harding is a terrific free throw shooter. He is a career 87% free throw shooter. He shot 88% last year. We talked about Merrill being a great shooter. This kid can really shoot it as well, but you kind of forget that because he is so athletic and acrobatic when he goes to the basket.
He's on that Lou Henson.
Wow. What a great shot, excuse me, Steve, by Sam Merrill.
He's
and it's one thing about being able to shoot, but he made a great read on that down screen. Cody John, who's been on him like ugly on an 8 for pretty much the first half, went over the top of that screen. Merrill faded the screen, just took a step back and freed himself for the shot. Again, it's one thing to be a good shooter. It's another thing to be able to get to your shot like Merrill did.
Abel Porter into the game. And now down on the block as the Aggies decide to go in. Quinn Taylor, though, will kick it back out. 9 to shoot. And right down the middle and rejected. Boy, that was Brito going to the basket. I was mentioning earlier, though, about Harding. He's on the Lou Henson watch list, which is a top mid-major player. Yep. And I don't think they'll be forgetting about him. There's the reach on the block.
Chapman leads the Big Sky in blocks with 2 a game.
So we've got a foul on a back pick called against Keita on the play. And that'll be a turnover with the offensive foul.
Now he looked like a freshman in, because that's a silly foul to get away from the ball. His second foul of the game down at BYU the other day. He ran out and hacked the guy at the three-point line early in the game. So he's still got something to learn. He's a great athlete and long and great potential, but he's still got to mature. Kind of like us, Steve. Still got to mature a little.
Yes, some of us, there's not much time left for. Well, there's a nice pull-up jump shot. Finds the bottom of the net. And, you know, Weber State, don't look now, but they're starting to get kind of a rhythm. You feel like there's some rhythm coming to this game.
Yeah. We caught Chapman averaging just under 10 points at 9.6 and 5.9, almost 6 rebounds. But how about this? At 6'8", he leads the team in assists.
There's the pass over the top to Keita. Chapman does a nice job right there bodying him out. And that one is going to be, I think, a foul. that's what you and I could call with a relative degree of accuracy, right?
Nice job by Abel Porter, local kid out of Davis High School. Steve, remember the great, and I looked up there and I saw Rhonda Beglin in the stands, the great coach at Weber State. In 1999, when Weber State upset North Carolina, Abel Porter's coach at Davis High School was on that team, Chad Sims. I figure since we're doing the Beehive Classic, I'll give you a little Beehive basketball history.
There you go.
But, I look up just across from us, Rhonda Beglin, who was the head coach at that time and engineered that great win.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, don't play golf against him either.
No. I do know that.
Ball is out of bounds, 3:58 remaining. We'll be back as it's the Aggies up 34-19. Well, Neemias Keita so far has lived up to the pre-billing, as he has just been an animal down low.
I tell you what, he is long and showing some athleticism and great hands. He's made a couple of typical freshman mistakes. He stuck a fork in that one and picked it up. But, boy, he is an impressive freshman. The leading candidate in my mind, and I've been doing a lot of Mountain West Conference games, the leading candidate for Freshman of the Year in the Mountain West Conference.
Look at that against St. Mary's, 24, 9, 5, and 2. That is an unbelievable scoreline, and not many players have that. Now, Braxton works on him, and Braxton does a nice job faking as if he's going over that left shoulder and then goes back to his right.
Well, Braxton kind of delivered that blow to him with the lower body. Again, Zach Braxton has been around the stump a little bit. He's a 4-year starter at Weber State, created a little space, and then went right to his shot.
Coach, you and I did the Weber games when he was a freshman.
Started every game as a freshman except one when he had hurt his ankle. Again, 107 straight starts for Zach Braxton. Another great cut and pass. The pass that time coming from Brito. The nice cut by Miller, the freshman out of Brighton High School.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job running that 45 angle cut into the paint, and wound up with about 3 or 4 layups because of it.
They really are.
Here it is again. Watch Braxton.
Zach Braxton faking over his. Now remember, he's right-handed. He kind of delivered that blow with his left shoulder and then made it go in with his left hand. That's not an easy shot. Looks like maybe he hit his crazy bone or something there. Way he's
grabbed the elbow,
grabbing that elbow, and shaking his hand.
John spins in the lane. And the reverse layup. Wow, that's just individual effort.
You know, his game is a little bit in between Jared Harding and Sam Merrill. He's not as big as Merrill or quite as quick as Harding, but boy, he's got a complete offensive game. He is hard to keep out of the paint.
Aggies with the ball now, and 2.5 minutes remaining here in the first half. Tried to go to K to force that pass. That was not a good decision by Crew Ainge. But now he comes back, takes it away, saves the basketball, and the Aggies have it. That is hustle.
That's nice job.
That's DNA.
Yes, that's a nice job by Crew Ainge. He made kind of a bad turnover down at the other end. He could have kind of hung his head and kind of moped around. Instead, he hustled down, helped his team get another possession. I give him a big tip of the hat.
That's like his dad. Now the ball goes out of bounds. That reminds me of his dad at that age. Is just bulldog.
Yeah.
He might not have been the most talented guy in the world, and that's no disrespect to Danny, but he made a lot with guys who had more talent, didn't do as much as Danny Ainge did.
I found that an amazing thing about Danny Ainge. I knew he had a long NBA career, Steve. He played 15 years in the NBA. That's forever in this day and age.
And now look what he's doing with the Boston Celtics. Of course, he did have the Toronto Blue Jays hiatus too.
That's exactly right. Not only is Danny there, but his son Austin is helping, who was a starting point guard back several years ago.
Braxton at the line.
Braxton only a 54% free throw.
Oh, nice and clean on that.
Career-wise.
Hey, join us Sunday at 2 p.m. as New Mexico takes on Central Arkansas, only right here on your home for Mountain West basketball. That's AT&T Sportsnet.
Zach Braxton is kind of asserting himself down at the offensive end now. The big senior from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. He's got a sister that plays in the Big Sky at Montana State. Blair is her name. I've seen him and her walking arm in arm around the conference tournament, which has been in Reno the last few years.
Which you have called.
Boise, which I have called, for better or worse. Depends on who you talk to about that, I guess, Steve.
Well, you did give us both sides, better and worse. Braxton with the foul call down low. And that puts Keita at the line.
You know, there is an old saying in college coaching and college basketball coaching, you're lucky if half your fans love you and half hate you. And I kind of feel the same way about me as a broadcaster. You know, probably half people kind of like me and the other half kind of don't like me.
Well, I'm working on the first part of the equation. I haven't hit 50% yet. So the score remains 36-25. Yes, Jeremy Brunner, our producer in the truck, said like baseball, 300's great. I'll take that.
Yeah, Jeremy has worked with me too much. You know, I knew he had to chime in. Now, that's not Cody John's game there. He was open, but he's a slasher driver, and I guess you got to shoot it if you're wide open, but that didn't look real good.
13 still to shoot. Boy, it's a long clock in the college. It takes a while to get used to it as Miller drives and kicks it off to Ainge. Ball still outside. There you go. The pull-up jump shot. Well, that was some patience on the part of the Aggies. Burrito worked and got that nice jump shot at the free throw line.
You know, their coach Craig Smith said something interesting when he was interviewed at halftime when they were down big to BYU. He said, I thought we got a little sticky in the first half. I knew exactly what that meant. I'd never heard that term used in that way. He meant we weren't getting the ball reversed. We were holding on to it a little too long. Great move by Braxton. Going to that left-handed hook. Remember, he's right-handed.
Yeah, he's been a force down low so far tonight, and I think he's showing some maturity to Keita, saying, hey, young fella, this is how we get it done. And Keita can learn a lot if he pays some attention tonight.
Well, sometimes when you're big and athletic like Keita, you kind of give in to letting a guy get too low and easy position, thinking because you're so long you can block it. Keita, post-play, post-defense play, Steve, is all done early. You got to move before the ball moves. Keita kind of settled in behind him, and then after Braxton made that first move, which is his go-to move, faking left, going over his right shoulder to his left hand, you can't stand up in that first move. You got to guard the second move, and Keita has not learned that yet. And Braxton's kind of again taking taking him to school, some adult education, senior on the freshman.
Well, Braxton has been effective so far. There's no question about that. A reminder, coming up at the half, we've got stats, highlights, plus we'll take a deeper look into the Utah Jazz as Ricky Rubio has been doing an awful lot to battle cancer for a long time. We'll take a look at Ricky's work here in the state of Utah. Back to action again as Ainge will hold for the last shot. 10 seconds on the clock. Merrill, they give it to Keita. They'll want it back in Merrill's hand. They do with that 5 seconds now. And Merrill, shot is rejected by Braxton. 1.5 remain. So this is a catch and shoot for Utah State now.
Down 11. This is as close as Weber State has been for a while. They're not going to be able to get it under double digits going in at halftime, but this is a kind of a momentum stop if they can get it stopped. Oh my.
And a whistle right before, with 1/10 of a second remaining.
Boy, that was about the worst thing that could happen to the Wildcats. Not only are they now have a chance to not go down 11, they put Keita at the free throw line, and I believe the foul was on Brakat Chapman, which is his second foul.
And the only good news is that Keita's a 64% free throw shooter. Evidence by the
I've
first
been corrected. It was on Zach Braxton, and that's his second foul, which is not much better anytime they get those two big guys with 2 fouls in the first half, but only 0.1 second left.
And Keita now with the second free throw. And that one was nice and clean. Boy,
nice play.
Yeah, 64% at the line, and that's the way the half is going to end, Coach. Utah State started quickly. Weber started to gain some momentum, though, and looked like they got into a rhythm, but the score at halftime, the Aggies with the lead over the Wildcats, 39-27.
Well, the Aggies got off to a pretty quick start and never looked back. Weber State kind of got it righted. The ship righted, that is, but now down 12. Look for it, the Wildcats to make a run here in the second half at the Beehive Classic.